at this chart, we have several of the area formulas for many common geometric figures. We have our rectangle, square, parallelogram. I do want to note for the area for the parallelogram, this b times h, it's very important that your height is perpendicular. And so if you have this parallelogram, you'll have one side, and then you need to have a height that's at a perpendicular angle. If you have the other side, then this formula will not work. For the triangle, you'll see that you have two area formulas, and it's a similar thing. The base and the height have to be perpendicular. So the only way you can use this first formula is if you have the height of the triangle formed at a perpendicular to the other side that you're using for the formula. If you don't have that height that's in the middle of the triangle, and a lot of times you will not have that, you can actually find the area with this longer formula. And what it does is you look at the square root of this s, then s minus a, s minus b, s minus c. S is found by adding the sides of the triangle together and dividing by 2 or multiplying by 1/2. You can almost think of S as half of the perimeter of a triangle. Then in a trapezoid, you have your bases. These are the ones that are parallel, B1 and B2, and you need to know the perpendicular distance between them in order to do this formula. And then our circle, pi r squared, you must have the radius, and you multiply that by 3.14 after you've squared the radius. So we can use these formulas to find the area of a rectangle with length 9 feet and a width 5 feet. The area is simply going to be the product of those, which is 45.0, and our units here will be square feet. Anytime you multiply these units together to find the area, you'll end up with square units. A certain square has a side of 5 feet. What is its area? The area for a square is the side squared. This is going to give us an area of 25.0 square feet. If we have a parallelogram with h 9 meters and base 11 meters, the parallelogram, the formula is simply the base times the height. And so we'll have 99 square meters. And then the area of the parallelogram shown below. So here we have to decide which sides are the base and which one is going to give us the height here. So the height is always that perpendicular height. And so you're going to use the base with the side that is perpendicular to that height. The 7 in this case is not part of our calculation because we don't know a perpendicular height to that particular side. So you might ignore some of the measurements that you have when finding these areas. Anytime you're going to use a B or an H, you need to specifically be using sides that are perpendicular to each other. And sometimes the height will not actually be a side of one of these shapes. It probably will be something inside your figure. So our formula, base times height, looking at an area of 52 square inches. In example 3, looking at the area of a triangle, here we're given base and height, so we can use the formula 1/2 base times height. And we get an area of 96 square inches. For this example, the two sides that were given hit at a 90-degree angle because we have that little square there. And so that tells us that we can, in fact, use the 1/2 base times height formula. It doesn't matter what order you multiply in. Multiplication can be done in any order. And so this is going to have an area of 1.53 square centimeters. In example 4, we're looking at a triangular fin that has 3 side lengths. We don't have a perpendicular height in this particular case. So this is something like this shape. So what we need to do is we need to find this half perimeter. So S, you're going to add the 3 sides together and then multiply that by 1/2. So we have 25 centimeters, and now we can find the area, and it is a complicated one. S minus one of the sides, S minus a different side, and S minus the last side. Do this in pieces. It's going to be 25. 25 minus 12 is 13. 25 minus 15 is 10. 25 minus 23 is 2. Then multiply everything underneath the square root together. So it's going to be the square root of 6,500. And then finally take the square root and you'll get your final answer. It is 80.6 square centimeters.